Hello, welcome to TJD episode 63. We watched Blade Runner.
I'm Ty.
Jake.
And I'm Drew.
The 1982 film directed by Ridley Scott and starring Harrison Ford. This was Drew's pick, so I'll let him do the synopsis.
Basically it stars Harrison Ford. He is a Blade Runner, and it's basically about him getting called up by some old cohorts saying, hey, these replicants or clones or whatever you want to call them, they're basically killing a bunch of people. They stole a ship. They're killing a bunch of people. We need you to track them down and retire them or, kill them.
Not so much clones.
No, they're not clones, but
they're androids.
Right. Yeah, they're androids. Yeah,
right.
Very sophisticated androids.
Mm-hmm.
Stronger and faster than normal humans, and about the same intelligence.
Right.
According to the crawl at the beginning of the movie.
But a 4-year lifespan.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the reason for the 4-year lifespan is because they start to adapt and feel emotions.
Right. Emotions on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So they grow beyond their programming, basically. And it's kind of a fail-safe. Just in case you go crazy or something goes wrong.
Mm-hmm. A form of, what do you want to say, artificial intelligence, then? Like an AI that can adapt?
Yeah, I guess they'd be an AI.
Yeah. Skynet could take a lesson from them.
Or not. I'd be okay if they didn't. I'd sleep a little better.
I don't know, after Terminator Genesis, do we really need to worry about Skynet?
Yeah, we should die.
Wait,
I mean, the movie was terrible. And if Skynet were to attack us, I'm alright with it.
you'd welcome it?
Not even Khaleesi could save that movie.
But she wasn't Khaleesi.
That's true. I'm just saying, I could normally watch her do nothing and be like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. But that movie's... Oh. They had to throw Jai Courtney in there.
That made it worse.
Yeah.
That's not this movie, though.
No, not at all. This is a better movie.
Yes. By leaps and bounds. Yes.
We got any immediate pros or cons to jump out?
I got a pro.
Shoot.
Atmosphere. It's like a future dystopian, weird kind of Asian influence vibe that just, there's no other movie that really feels like this movie in terms of the setting.
I was going to ask, I never actually personally saw the film, but did either of you actually see the film AI?
Nope.
No.
Never mind then, I can't ask. I was going to say, how was it compared to that? But
Yeah. Never saw it.
I'm going to say this gave me... It kind of gave me a Fifth Element-y kind of vibe, but that was a little more... Fifth Element, the technology and stuff was a little more sophisticated and updated, didn't look so run down necessarily.
It wasn't raining all the time.
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I got vibes of that in there.
That was the only kind of downfall was I wanted to, you see a little bit of it with the sun shining, but you have 5 minutes of screen time where the sun actually shines. I would like to have seen all of the busy streets and everything when it wasn't raining.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what this movie's about.
I'm just saying I would like to have seen it. I'm not saying it's a con or anything. I'm just saying I would like to have seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
I got a pro.
Okay.
It's an old school, noir, pulpy detective story with a new type of spin, like a future spin. And it works. Future spin.
Future spin.
Well, think about it. What kind of other movie has done that up to that point?
In the future?
Did they do any dystopian, kind of noir, mystery kind of detective?
I mean, I'd have to say somebody at some point.
I'm sure there may have been
with the amount of
something.
Movies that are out there. Yeah.
With the cultural significance like this.
No. There's nothing that comes to mind that would be like that.
So this is kind of, I don't know. To me, it felt kind of like a pioneer, kind of paved the way for stuff like this.
definitely.
Just a small con. That one scene where like he pushes up on that girl is a little weird to me.
Describe the scene you're talking about.
So Rachel, who finds out she is a replicant, / android.
This is gonna be bad. I don't like that we're even going down that road, but go on.
I'm just saying, you want a con.
No, go ahead.
She saves Harrison Ford's life. They've had a few interactions. He figured out she's a replicant, but it took a lot longer than usually does for him. And then he ends up breaking the news to her. So then she saves his life, and they go back to his place. He's sleeping off the beating that he took while she's kind of exploring his apartment. Then
he tries to explore her apartment.
Well, in very demeaning terms, I guess, yes. He tries to kiss her. She backs away, goes to leave. He slams the door shut so she can't leave. Then pushes her up against a window and is like, tell me you want me to kiss you. And eventually she says it, so then they kiss. And then he like says, tell me you want, or I want you. And then she does. And then she goes into like a little bit more talk.
Put your hands on me.
Yeah. She says something else that he didn't say to say. And then presumably they get on.
Mm-hmm.
But it just is really weird to me.
Uh-huh. Why?
Because it has a very rapey vibe to it.
Yeah. Dude, that scene was so weird.
Now, if I play devil's advocate...
You might look a little bit bad.
Well, I'm willing to... I already look bad on this show, so... So these androids aren't very old.
Mm-mm.
So they don't have a lot of world experience, and she's presumably only been working under Tyrell. Not you.
Oh.
But, you know, the older guy, Tyrell, that runs this corporation, she's like his secretary, I'm thinking, and she doesn't really get out much, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's more he was reading signals and kind of felt that she wanted it, and he had to kind of explain what was going on.
Like she didn't know all the social cues she was giving.
The problem is, can you really give... Are we really going to talk about consent and robots?
I wouldn't.
No? Okay, well, here's... I understand the rapey vibe, but I don't think it's meant to be that way.
No, I know it's not meant... Like, Ridley Scott didn't film the scene being like, oh, this is totally what I'm going for.
And
right.
Here's the rape scene.
I think it was supposed to be like he's helping her understand how she feels, but the way that he did it might come off a little bit rapey.
I think it was misguided more than anything.
I think it was 82.
I think they just... Jeez. I think he just staged it wrong.
It could have been... I'll agree it could have been handled better.
Yes. Because I think I think Ridley Scott's intent with that scene was that she is having these feelings that she thought she had originally on her own, but now has learned that she's an android,
mm-hmm.
and doesn't know exactly what these feelings are because she's never explored them.
Right.
And so then the whole thing is like she becomes hesitant of them, and Harrison Ford's kind of like, hey, no, just open up to it.
Right.
But it just went like...
It seemed like he was telling her what to do.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think it was meant to be guiding. Like,
mm-hmm.
I know you feel this way. Here's how this works. Not... tell me this.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what he does. Tell me you want me to kiss you.
Yeah.
Which if Harrison Ford told me, I'd be like, yeah. You don't gotta ask me twice.
This is peak Ford right here.
Yeah.
Well, Jake would do it now.
Oh, yeah. I just wouldn't let him fly my plane. Actually, I would. I don't care. I'd be like, we crashing right there?
And No, he doesn't.
I get to die today?
Do you want...
I'm so excited.
Is it Clarissa Flockhart? Or
Callista Flockhart?
There it is. I was like, wait, is there a T in there? I can't remember.
No, it's Ally McBeal.
Oh.
Because she never did anything else. So that's her name.
Ally McBeal. You know Robert Downey Jr. was on Ally McBeal.
Yeah. Alan McBeal.
Yeah. Ally.
Her male cousin's other law firm. Wait, was it even a law firm?
She was just a lawyer. It wasn't her law firm. At least not that I know of. I didn't watch the show.
Welcome back to the Minute Details pod.
Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu.
What?
She was in Ally McBeal.
Huh. All right. Well, how do we feel about what
Ally
we watched?
McBeal?
No.
I got a pro. The music.
Yeah. I love the music. Very organic feeling.
Very 80s.
Yeah.
Very sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, like, they're bringing it back for this new movie. Like, you get the bits and pieces from
The original.
watching that trailer. Like, they're there.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty excited. It looks very similar too.
Mm-hmm.
Just looks, cleaner and new.
I wonder if they're going to tie up the end of Rachel.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see Rachel in the trailer.
No.
Well, 4 years. But is because she's an experiment, does that pass over?
See, we don't know.
Nobody knows.
Huh.
Okay, I want to go into this theory you talked about. So the theory is that Harrison Ford's character is also a replicant.
Right. Deckard.
Rick Deckard.
Dick Deckard?
Rick Deckard.
Huh.
But you can call him Dick. Yeah, Dick Deckard.
Who is a dick because he is a cop. So, So Dick Deckard.
Double Dick Deckard.
Do we want to leave that?
Sure, why not?
I'm proud of myself.
You shouldn't be.
Anyways, yeah, there's a fan theory that he himself could be a replicant. I call bullshit.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Well, if it's 2019 when this movie takes place and the new one takes place in 2077.
I thought it was
2049.
Because it's called Blade Runner 2049.
Oh yeah, I fucked the title up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense then. Fuck you!
It's 30 years later.
Sorry for bringing my logic.
Well, I mean, logic comes into play here where Rachel asks him the question, have you ever taken the test?
And he doesn't say anything.
Well,
But
he's passing out.
He passed out.
But it's not like a crazy theory where there's no reason to believe that it's a possibility.
I don't think it can't be, like, thought of, but I just don't agree with it. Besides his eyes every so often having that shimmer, which Ridley Scott did a lot of other characters as well, not just, but I mean, like the owl, you knew, like, I think that's how he made it seem like, yeah, this is definitely a fake owl because look at those eyes and how they glow, but, and some of that could have been, like, because one of the replicas was in the same area and they were, like, making it flash so that I would do it to their eyes. And
replicant?
What did I say?
Replicas.
Whatever. Replica. They're the same thing. Anything. Anyways.
Yeah.
Any way you want it.
That's the way you need it?
Yeah.
You want to leave that on the pod?
No. That was gone the moment it left my mouth.
Is that what you say to every girl?
Yeah. I was waiting for it. I watched the gears turn. I'm like, is he going to take that? Well played.
Thank you.
So let's run down a couple things that might lead someone to believe that he's a replicant.
The eye flickers.
The eye flickers.
The eyes, like, turn, an orange? Like, the middle of the eye.
They kind of glaze over. It's honestly, it's kind of like The Thing. Mm-hmm. The end of The Thing where everyone's like, oh, he's a replicant. No, he's The Thing. And Carpenter had come out and said that you can tell in the eyes who The Thing has taken control of. But there's all these crazy theories about, oh, he had the Molotov, but it was gasoline, and he drank it like it was fine. And I mean, at the end of the day, they were both going to die anyway because they're out in the snow. So, does it really matter in the end? Why am I talking about The Thing?
It's another great film.
Yeah, but a similar fan theory.
Mm-hmm.
This film you have, so Rachel has memories that Deckard just knows. He knows them. He's like, you have a memory of an orange spider. You know, he runs down this stuff and he goes, I bet you'd never told anybody that. And she has this look like, how the fuck does he know all this shit? And that's one reason, but it could also be, like you said, that he's been at the job for a while. So he could have seen this a lot, or he had the same memories. We don't really know. It could be taken either way. And then the other not so ironclad thing is the old pictures that he has make me think that he could have been around for a while and had older photographs. You know, but it's one of those, it was made in 82, so maybe...
They just didn't know what...
Or maybe it just wasn't a well thought out prop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that could happen as well. And then her actually confronting him with, have you ever taken the test? And he never answered. But he was passed out. So if I were to guess, I'd say he's not a replicant either. But it's just one of those that it's fun to think about. And I wouldn't be mad if he was.
No. Because a replicant hunting a replicant makes sense. But at the same time, he never displays any type of their strength or their extra abilities. Like, the main bad guy played by
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Roy Batty.
Yeah, he jumps the gap like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a point there that he doesn't exhibit. They don't. Harrison Ford doesn't exhibit any of the replicant strength or agility. In fact, like, you see him get manhandled by several female replicants pretty single-handedly.
Maybe he's a pussy.
He was designed that way?
Nah, maybe they designed him as a pussy.
Mm. I mean, that doesn't. I don't think him being a replicant takes anything away from the film at all.
Right.
And kind of leading into that, do you think that they divulge that information in the sequel?
I think they'd have to address it.
I think him being in the sequel kind of leads me to believe that he's not a replicant. It is, especially if Rachel's not there, because Rachel seemed to be an experiment, so I think they would want to leave her not, like, because they did not tell her she was a replicant. She figured it out, and he even said, I think she's beginning to suspect she's one.
Right. Here's the thing, though. The 4-year lifespan, they had to implement that at one point. Mm-hmm. So something must have happened to make them go, we need a kill switch. So even though, you know, the whole point of the movie, Rutger Hauer wants to live longer, to the point that he hunts Tyrell down, and Tyrell just says, you were built this way. Like, I can't undo what's been done. You're already here. Just enjoy it. If someone had been built that way that went longer, then they would theoretically still be out there. But they would have had to have done something to make them go, we need a kill switch. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So
the thing is, though, I don't think Deckard is the guy that would have caused that to happen. But he could be one of the, one of the good ones. Like, they'd made a couple of them went fucking crazy, and Deckard was fine. And he ended up getting a regular job and actually hunting replicants down. But again, I don't think he's a replicant.
No.
It's a cool theory to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they have to address it. I don't know how they would make another one and not address it.
Especially after it being, 35 years later? Like, you have to, indulge your fans.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure the new director and Ridley Scott have had talks about what was your idea with this, or had you even thought about it? Like, it could have been one of those things that, Ridley just made the movie and people started dissecting and noticing,
Well, thing is, sometimes a new director with already established mythos don't always go back to the other director to ask.
Right, but Ridley's an executive producer.
Oh, okay. Well, Ivan Reitman was an executive producer. Ghostbusters, and Paul Feig didn't listen to him.
Well, Paul Feig's a piece of shit, and Dennis Villeneuve knows what he's doing.
I'm just saying.
I know, you're playing devil's advocate.
I mean...
Villeneuve?
I think it's Villeneuve, or Villeneuve.
Isn't it Villeneuve?
Villeneuve?
Yeah.
Isn't that the basketball player?
Villanueva?
Oh.
Villanova?
No, that's the basketball school. But, I mean, the same could be said, do you think Zack Snyder always listened to Christopher Nolan? Because Nolan was an executive producer on, what, 2 of those?
Probably not. I mean, in the end, I think there's disconnects where the director has his own vision for him or her has his or her own direction for the film they want to produce, and they just, sometimes shit falls by the wayside. So.
Because, I mean, even James Cameron's been executive producers on other Terminator films, but he obviously didn't touch those.
No. Some of those are really bad. Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce that. Looks French.
Villeneuve?
I don't know how you pronounce that.
He did Arrival. He'll do fine.
I want to see that movie. I haven't seen it yet.
Either have I.
I cried. I fucking cried, man. Not like a silent tear. Like I had to leave the room. I had a moment.
You lubricated?
No, nothing like that.
I would have paid money to see that.
I would have too. I've never seen you cry.
It's not good.
Oh.
Grown men shouldn't cry.
I think there are certain times grown men can cry.
That wasn't the time.
Oh. Watching Arrival.
With your dad in the room judging you? Crying in an alien movie, huh? Yeah, it was part laughter, part crying, because they just talk shit the whole time. That's why I'm all fucked up. I'm like, why am I doing this? It's so stupid. And they're like, yeah, it really is.
So it had no effect on your family.
Did that happen in your childhood too?
Yeah.
Some traumatic shit. And they're like, it's fine.
Have
like,
fun with your little rabbit movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
That's why he's become so desensitized.
I don't feel nothing anymore.
Obviously, you still do.
Yeah. That's the problem.
I almost feel like this is your every week therapy.
It's totally my therapy. That's why I'm so sad when people are like, "Oh, that dude's fucked." I'm like, "This is where I can be myself here." You fuck! Don't tell me to eat a dick.
I knew you were going to say it.
It's all I ever say anymore.
I know. Eventually, you're going to just start doing it.
Eating a dick.
Yeah. Maybe that's what you've been missing in your life.
big veiny cock.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think so.
Because obviously you don't have one. Oh!
Wow. He was pretty pleased with himself.
Yeah. Did the hand
No,
raise
I
and
didn't
everything.
please myself. I just was happy.
So how do we feel about Blade Runner? More pros, more cons. Harrison Ford. Call him a pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford's great. I'm trying to remember, when was the first Indiana Jones? Raiders? Was it
Early
80?
Early 80s.
I was going to say, I thought he had done, obviously, I think he did the first 2 Star Wars and the first Indy.
Raiders is 81.
Yeah, so it was right before this. And then
He'd done American Graffiti.
he had done American Graffiti. But other than that, I'm not sure what else. And then eventually he went on to do Working Girl.
You just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
No, I like Ford in this. Like he's a great lead. It's kind of cool to go back and see him so young.
Mm-hmm.
Rutger Hauer is
Pro?
Oh fuck yeah,
He's amazing. The other girl that you hate, not really.
Daryl Hannah?
Yes, thank you. Not really a pro, more of a con. Edward James Olmos, I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
well he wasn't in it very much.
No, but like, you see him and it's like, that doesn't look like him at all.
No, he looks pretty much completely different now.
Yeah. I mean, he was a lot skinnier.
Right.
But
but to touch on the Roy Batty, what's that guy's name again?
Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer, yeah. What was cool about him was like, yeah, he's a replicant, and oftentimes their emotions are pretty similar to humans.
Mm-hmm.
Although, like, you knew he was a replicant, like, right away, like when you saw him and stuff. So he was kind of like, he didn't seem like, I don't know, very, very emotional at the beginning.
Right.
But then at the end, you just see him just, like, he's on a whole nother level.
Yeah, he blows up at the end.
Mm-hmm. But you also could tell right away, because, like, his phrasing was all wrong. He was like, questions I have, or something like that. Mm. And it was like, okay, this is not normally how a person would talk. And
right.
So you kind of got the idea that social skills weren't exactly the highest on his list.
Do you think that's because he was a slave, though?
I'm sure,
or like
yeah.
a worker or whatever.
I mean, just like a human, if whatever environment you're raised in, that's what you're gonna know. So
it's not because I guess I have a question about the replicants thing. When they're okay, never mind. They're fully grown when okay. I was gonna say, are language skills and stuff developed over time, or is that an innate ability when they're created, or how does that work?
Now that I think about it, it could be programming, but he was slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they all were kind of coming to an end. That was the whole point of going back. Like, how do we prolong our life?
Mm-hmm. He was the oldest of them by a few months, and then the other ones actually had two of the other ones had over a year left, but they were, they were going to die.
Mm-hmm. So. And they were murdered before they could die, so...
Mm-hmm.
I like that they showed that, like, him kind of slowing down and him, decaying over time. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Especially the first time you watch it, because you're just like, I don't know about you, but the first time I watched it, I had no fucking idea what was going on.
Well, that's what I was asking you. I was like, why is his, like, hand, like, cramping? He sticks a nail into his hand, like, Stigmata style.
Right.
And I asked Jake, I was like, what the fuck is happening? He goes, he's dying.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple points throughout the movie where his hand will start doing this, and he'll kind of start fucking with it.
I didn't notice it until the final, like, chase. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, he's decaying. Yeah. So that, and I also noticed, like, when he went to see the creator, the Tyrell head, and when he just profusely he's sweating like a hooker in church.
Right.
Yeah.
But the head is wearing a freaking huge coat.
Yeah. And
he's fine. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, something's obviously up.
Right.
Because he wasn't keeping cool or anything. So
there's a part in the end where he's chasing Deckard through that apartment. He rams his head through a wall, and he starts this line. He's like, oh, you have to be alive to play the game. And then, like, it sounds like he's going to say more, but he just kind of, like, starts, freezing up. And it just, it's cool watching the end of that lifespan. And then, like, the profound, like, ending that I don't want to get into, because I don't know if you're going to pick it, but I was going to pick it for my scene.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotcha. No.
But we can get into that.
Yeah, later.
No. But it's just, watching him go to work is fucking great.
I think after I saw that ending sequence, I was like, man, he, as good as he was during this film, I feel he was kind of underutilized.
Yeah. He probably could have done more. And sadly, like, when I think of everything he's done, I can't think of anything he was really in that was, like, on this level to let him, like, kind of run with it. But, yeah, he's very fun to watch in this. Because he has that, I don't know if childlike wonder's the right word, but, like,
I get what you're saying. Like, he's inquisitive. He wants to know.
Right. And then, like, watching him not understand is kind of heartbreaking. Like, to see his face when they're like, we can't prolong you. Like, this is going to come to an end. It'd be like watching a movie where they told somebody that, here's when you're going to die. And you're like, fuck, that's got to do a number on your psyche. Like, even though he's artificial, he's still a human, kind of. Like,
He's
that's
adapted.
right. That's
Mhm.
the movie. Like, what makes a human? You know, like they say the human experience, like, can't a replicant have the same thing? It would be limited, but it's kind of like, why is what you have more valuable?
Mm-hmm.
Like the parts where they keep saying, this is what it's like to live in fear. Like, do they feel like that all the time? Because that would be terrible.
Well, and then like he also mentions like that he's seen so much more, and he's like,
Right.
"You've never seen that,
Yeah.
and now it's going to disappear."
So it's kind of him appreciating everything that's happened in his
Mm-hmm.
last moments. Like, I've seen things that you wouldn't believe, is basically what he says.
I had a question for you guys. Like, from Harrison Ford's perspective, after seeing everything that went down, after fighting with Roy, and then Roy saving him at the end, and the way it ends, do you think it's totally fucked in Harrison Ford's, I don't know, his mind for him having to be a Blade Runner and do what he does?
Yeah.
Well, I remember seeing him after he kills the first of the replicants. He just shaking. It seems like he kind of didn't want to do it. Like it was, I don't know. Like I mean, some of it too is she attacked him, and so he was a little shaking from that.
Mm-hmm.
But he still was like, I don't know. Not that he seemed remorseful, but he just was kind of like,
I think he's sympathetic.
yeah.
Kind of like cops that got to use their gun. Like, I'm sure they don't feel good about it after it's happened, even if they were a bad guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's on your conscience forever.
Even though they're a replicant, he still had to
Right.
retire them.
Right. Got to do your job.
I also have another question, just inquisitive. So at the crawl screen, they say that all replicants were declared illegal.
Right.
So are we operating under the mindset that there's a finite number of replicants now? They're no longer allowed to be made because all this shit went down.
Or it's a black market thing.
I thought it said they were illegal on Earth.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense now.
Only on Earth.
Okay, yeah.
So you can go off world and have as many as you want. That's why the company still
That's why
exists.
that's why they use them for labor and
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So they went to the parts guy first, that guy in the freezer. And he's like, all I do is eyes. And they just work their way up the chain looking for, how do I prolong this?
I just thought it was weird. Like when they attack people, they attack their eyes.
Yeah? I don't know.
That was odd. I was like, why don't they just choke them?
Khan, you wouldn't have killed them that way.
Nah, it's true. Con. Yeah. I'll take that.
Okay.
I have an editing con.
Okay.
I think the voices were mixed low.
Well, Harrison Ford said he hated doing the voiceover in this.
Yeah, but this is a remastered Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So it should be figured out by now.
Do you agree?
It in moments.
I had to crank it up quite a bit in some parts.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just made to be played loud.
Maybe.
I
mean,
know.
I got the system for it, so
Yeah, I thought it sounded good.
Yeah.
like.
But I agree with him. Like I saw you fiddling. Like you'd go up so we could hear, but then
Right.
you had to go down because it was so fucking loud.
It's very bombastic.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bombastic.
Damn it.
I knew. See, I don't even like that joke, but I wanted to take it from you.
The look on Ty's face.
He was actually upset. I could see him like just about to get it out there. Snatched it from you. It's mine now, forever.
You took my O face.
Lumberg Foster. Oh God.
But yeah, other than that, like I think the sound effects were awesome, and I don't know. I just think the voices just got a lower mix than they needed to be.
All right.
But that's something minor.
Daryl Hannah. She sucks.
You already said her.
I just wanted to mention it again. She's just one of those people that you look at her face and there's nothing going on in that head.
I just wish she was a little more charismatic. Like, I know she's a replicant, forced to do labor, but I mean,
She's handspringing everywhere. What more charisma do you want?
I want facial animated features and, some delivery. Like, she was very soft spoken and just, I don't know.
That being said, she doesn't ruin the movie because there's a pretty great part where she's doing a backflip.
No, that's my scene.
Okay, never mind then. Drew will talk about it. I love that scene. I don't think I've ever been so satisfied as seeing that on film.
Did you ever see what is it? Movie with Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal. Executive Decision.
No.
Did you ever see Executive?
No.
Are you going to pick it? You're going to pick a Steven Seagal movie?
Please don't pick it for your next one.
It won't be my next one. But there's a scene in there that is so amazing. And it actually has a great cast. It just happens to have Steven Seagal in it.
That's unfortunate.
It's Kurt Russell, John Leguizamo, Oliver Pratt.
Huh.
Halle Berry.
Those are people I've heard of.
And Steven Seagal.
That last one's why I've never seen it.
I might have to pick it.
I'm sure I was going through the cast and was like, that's too bad.
Oh. Anyways.
Fucking Steven Seagal.
Why don't you like Steven Seagal?
Because he's a fat tub of shit now.
Well, now, what about back then?
Asshole.
Are you saying you hate fat people?
Yeah, I hate myself. Actually, I do. I hate myself. You might be onto something there. Dr. Drew.
God damn it.
Now you just need a southern accent. And your own TV show.
Not too bad I'm from the Midwest, so.
Cash me outside? I don't like that. That's getting cut. Have you ever seen the one where the kid was hitting his mom? Dr. Phil's like, why in the fuck are you doing that? Well, he didn't say fuck, but...
Wait.
If he did, though, I'd watch that show. I wouldn't even feel bad about it. I would run to the break room at work.
Watch Dr. Phil.
This is not fucking acceptable. That's just Hank Hill borderline now.
God damn it, Bobby.
Is Jerry Springer still on the air?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Drew and I used to go to Popeyes and watch Jerry Springer.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was fucking great.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments where you look around and go, I'm doing all right.
I mean,
I think that's why that show has such high ratings, because it gives people
at Popeyes a reason to live.
It's like, I'm not a complete piece of shit. Look at these people. They totally don't have their lives together.
Even though it's scripted, I'm still like, yeah, this is good shit.
It makes me feel good.
You just see that the text at the bottom of every episode, like, oh, my dad impregnated my girlfriend. And you're like, oh, that's going to be good.
Better than any news headline you'll ever get.
Right?
I was anally probed by an alien.
Anally probed by an alien?
Yeah.
I thought he said
alien probe. I said anally, but I was like, God, that sounded a lot like alien. Oh.
What are they looking for up there?
The aliens?
Yeah.
In my anus?
Uh-huh.
I have no clue. They just want to check on my prostate, I think.
Maybe the first person they ever took was Richard Gere, and they're constantly looking for gerbils.
Why a gerbil?
Well, I don't know. Let's not get sued. No, it's already out there. Fuck him, he doesn't do anything anyway.
This is say name the last movie Richard Gere was in.
Pretty Woman.
Unfaithful?
Dude, Unfaithful. That's
movie
my
43.
jam.
I mean, I don't remember it for him.
I don't.
He was in movie 43?
43. He doesn't even remember. He goes, he literally showed up to set. He goes, there was a naked girl standing in the corner, a bunch of guys around me. I literally was there because a guy called in a favor. He goes, I don't remember. I shot it in one day, left.
I heard that's a movie that feels a lot like watching several favors that were called in.
It was a lot of favors called in.
You know who directed it?
Yeah. Actually, there were several directors. Elizabeth, because they're all cut up segments. So Elizabeth Banks, I know, directed one. Hugh Jackman, I think, directed one segment.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was just Bob Odenkirk.
No, he did one. Like I said, there are 5 different segments going on. Because what the whole thing is like Dennis Quaid is pitching movie ideas. And so he keeps pitching different movies.
So it's kind of like, well, I guess there's 5 different segments. It's kind of like 4 rooms. You know that movie?
Yeah.
Didn't Tarantino have...
Yeah, Tarantino had a segment where he directed it.
Totino's?
Tarantino.
Yeah. Quentin Totino.
Quentin Totino.
Started hearing, what's his name, singing... Wow, that doesn't make sense.
No,
Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
That fucking terrible end song in Gran Torino.
Oh.
Riding in my Gran Torino. It's like the worst song ever. But if you watch it with anyone over 50, they're like, that's fucking beautiful, man. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Isn't Gran Torino a great film, though?
Yeah, I like
It's
Gran
a really
Torino.
good movie. Clint Eastwood's just a shitty singer.
Those credits came on and I had to run out of the theater. I'm like,
what
what the fuck is that?
Have you guys seen Paint My Wagon?
No.
Oh, God.
Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood, and it's a musical.
They make fun of it on The Simpsons.
Oh, Jesus.
It's fucking great.
Lee Marvin, really?
Yes.
Yeah, like they're all like gonna kill each other or something like that.
Well,
They rent it on the presumption that it's like they're gonna kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh yeah, like I don't know, they're about to get in some altercation or something like that, and then they start singing "Paint Your Wagon," and Homer's like, what the hell is this?
The actual movie is like it's the Gold Rush, and Clint Eastwood
Wait, have you seen this?
Yes.
Of course you have.
Wow. It's the end of the pod, everyone.
It's actually a decent film.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying he's a great singer. It's just it's actually a decent film. Lee Marvin sounds grizzled.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
And Clint Eastwood doesn't?
Well, he's a lot younger in that film.
Sorry, I don't need to hear an old Clint Eastwood trying to sing. Just kind of makes me sad. Maybe that was the point.
Yeah. They wanted you to feel his pain. Talk to invisible chairs.
I remember the end of that movie so well. You see the truck driving, right? And that fucking song comes on. You're like, oh. All the good I just saw has been dashed. Drew, have you seen it?
Gran Torino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it on FX, so unfortunately all the curse
It was
words,
muted.
Yeah.
And they sped up the credits. They saved your life. I wanted to die when I heard it. My dad's like, that's Clint Eastwood singing. I'm like, I can fucking tell.
There's no stunt singer in there.
Nope.
Well, now you know he has sang before.
Right. Nope, that's a voice only a mother could love.
Jeez.
So how about Blade Runner?
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful movie.
No Clint Eastwood soundtrack.
Do you think Clint Eastwood could have played this part?
I don't think he would have.
No.
He's not having any future bullshit.
Like,
He can't even live next to a Filipino kid.
Hey, he was in Space Cowboys.
I never saw that.
Yeah, but to be surrounded by a bunch of Asian people, I don't think Clint Eastwood would fare very well.
There would have been a lot more hot button comments in this movie, I'm sure.
Hey, Dirty Harry, he had an Asian sidekick.
Yeah, but that's one guy.
And he was in Chinatown for almost one whole movie.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
I don't know where to go with that one.
All right. We'll leave it then.
What else we got?
I have another little con that I mentioned earlier. That the whole basis of him taking upon this mission to go kill all of the replicants when he was done. He's a retired Blade Runner. And then they come to him and they say, "Hey, we've got this job to kill these replicants." And he goes, "Yeah, I don't want to do that." And they somehow convince him when he was clearly not wanting to do it in the first place. And they don't really explain it very well. It's just kind of like, "Oh, I don't have a choice." And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm. I mean, they kept saying he's the best at what he does. Like, you know all those movies where they're like, we got to get such and such because they're the man.
Oh, Demolition Man.
Dirty Harry. Demolition
Man.
Judge
like,
Dredd.
It's a movie trope, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It'd be nice to have more of an explanation than, hey...
Like, did he do something wrong and so this guy had one favor to call in and he's like,
Yeah.
you have to do it? Or
"We kidnap your kids and you won't get them back till you kill every single last replicant."
No, he kind of just walks back in and sits down like, all right, let's start the movie.
I mean, you don't have a movie otherwise, like you said, but...
Right. No, I gotcha. Would be nice to have a little bit more clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Maybe that was left on the final cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not the unicorn cut.
No.
Is that a cut?
I'm pretty sure there's a unicorn ending. I don't think he knew how to end this movie.
Can you describe to me the significance of the unicorn? Because I'm not quite sure that I understood it.
See, the only thing I could piece together is because when Edward James almost leaves him the unicorn, and he had a vision of the unicorn, it was just something like, it was a little bit of a foreshadowing, like he's doing the right thing or something, but...
I mean, it could be symbolism too. Like imagining something that was breaking the mold, you know what I mean? Like maybe he's always hoped that he'd encounter a replicant that wasn't a standard, person that he shot and they were dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe...
Like there was something more... or
maybe there was
something
more
out of the
to
ordinary.
it. Right, which I think he got out of Roy, but that's me reading into something that,
Well, I mean, that's a pretty big, like, even your Blu-ray cover has the fucking unicorn on it.
Right.
And I think you said that it was included in, like, the steelbook case, or not the steelbook case, but the actual
box set.
the suitcase box set was pewter unicorn, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's a prominent figure in the movie. So
I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff online.
I'd be interested to check it out.
Yeah, I just don't know off the top of my head.
I mean, that sounds like a plausible theory.
Yeah.
But I'm first viewing, I'm, not up to snuff on the symbolism and stuff. Probably need to go back and watch it again, maybe.
Do you like it better now that you've seen it all the way through?
Yeah, I had trouble falling. I fell asleep a couple times trying to get through this, and
it starts slow.
Yeah,
and it's easy to fall asleep because it's a darker movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you're in a dark room watching this, yeah, you'd fall asleep.
Actually, they think that the unicorn has something to do with... There's a theory that people use that it means he's a replicant.
Oh.
Because Edward James Olmos' character then knows his memories that have been planted in him.
I hadn't thought about that.
And so he made a unicorn.
But
others also say that human or replicant, they can have the same memories or dreams. Like, because the unicorn's a fantasy thing. They each could think of it.
Right.
So,
or maybe it's one of those vague, hard to interpret kind of things that Scott threw in there.
And that's another thing, too. So...
And the only thing then I'd say that would make me question that theory is he also made other things out of paper. Like he grabbed a paper earlier and made like
He made a chicken, I think.
Yeah, he made a chicken. Like
he made a human.
Right.
Yeah.
There is Ridley Scott himself has said his vision of Deckard was him as a replicant, but Harrison Ford and another one of the writers saw him as a human, and then one other writer saw him as just like it being ambiguous.
Well, if the director comes out and says...
Well, it is based on a novel, though, so it's like...
Yeah, very true. What does
novel?
that guy say?
Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think it's loosely based on that.
Yes, but...
I don't think Deckard's even a character, so...
Because, yeah, it was based on that, I should say.
Right.
Like, it didn't directly adapt, but
Right.
but they even brought Philip K. Dick in to watch some of it before he died. And he was like, this looks amazing, so... But,
I'm gonna die now.
pretty much, yeah. But...
Who knows? Maybe he's a robot, maybe not. I don't think it's about whether or not Deckard's a robot.
No, it's not.
But it does give you, like...
It's cool to think about.
Do you empathize then more with the replicants that he had to kill, especially if he himself is a replicant, instead of him just being a human and destroying replicants?
I mean, I empathize with the replicants regardless of whether or not he's a replicant. I would empathize with him more because he's out there killing them.
And while we've been talking, you know what I thought of? I thought back to Cloud Atlas.
Really?
And that...
The Neo Tokyo scene?
Yes. Where you have those androids
Right.
that are being used pretty much as meat, but then you have a guy who's risking his life to save at least one of them to bring the light.
Right.
So, and they kind of have the, like, I look at it, I'm like, man, they had kind of the same stylistic piece to it. So, like, I'm not saying it ripped it off. I'm just saying they share a lot of similarities. They share some. They like just took the story a different way.
Common themes?
Yes.
Replicants are alive today. Do they have the same rights as humans?
That's a civil rights question. I'm not the right guy to talk to.
In your opinion,
No.
they think and feel just like us.
Here's the thing.
Would they be allowed to be made that way, though?
Well, think of it this way. Okay, so Deckard falls in love with a replicant.
Yeah.
So, Ty, your brother comes to you, or, it doesn't have to be your brother. You have that look on your face. Okay.
A friend. Just say a friend.
So, a friend comes to you, the three of us, and says, hey, I can't go out to the bar. I got a girlfriend. And you're like, oh, good for you. Who is she? And he's like, oh, I've been fucking this robot. Would you not be like,
Happens to Fry in Futurama.
I was gonna say, that literally happens in Futurama. They have like one of those old 1950s.
Lucy Lubot.
Yeah.
Wow. How did I miss that episode?
Just fucks his socks off basically the whole episode.
And they have like a 1950s like PE, like it's like don't have sex with robots because you'll end up alone and dead. And
You never seen that episode?
I don't think I have.
Dude, it's great.
It's amazing. You should watch it before July 1st because then
they're taking off the first 4 seasons of Futurama.
What the fuck?
Well, Fox isn't wanting to renew any of their stuff, so
wow, stupid. Okay. Anyways, back to the question.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be?
It would be weird.
Okay, so it wouldn't really be culturally accepted, I don't think. But is it inherently wrong? It'd be debatable. It depends on who you talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I don't care if somebody wants to fuck a robot.
It'd be like fucking a toaster.
Whoa! Whoa! My fucking head just exploded. I forgot about the blowster.
The what?
Do you remember the blowster?
That's why I was pointing at you.
You don't remember this?
No.
So back at the old job, I came up with a toaster that would blow you, but you could make toast too. $1 billion idea.
It'd be nice and warm.
It would be nice and warm. Isn't that great? And you could butter your toast. Not with butter,
Literally and
but
figuratively.
with semen. $1 billion idea.
I don't think that's $1 billion idea.
Billion. It'll be me and Elon Musk. Like, our houses will be right next to each other. He'll be like, what'd you do? And I'd be like, I fucked a toaster. Everybody loves this. And he'd be like, well, I saved the planet.
I've got an idea. I've got a toaster. It's the best toaster.
You can put your dick in it. I would put my dick anywhere near a toaster. But if you get a replicant that's basically a human, I'm not going to know the difference. And I don't have to pull out, theoretically. And that's a win for everyone. It's a win for the robot, unless it decides it wants to kill me in the middle of the night. Honestly, that's a win for me too, somehow. I don't have to do it myself.
You're like, oh, autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, I think I'd wake up alarmed and then be like, oh.
Autorobotic asphyxiation.
She's like, say you want this. I'm like, I do want this. Goodbye, cruel world.
It's just so stupid.
It's like, good night, Jake. Good night, Jake.
And went to Home Alone.
Oh, I thought we were doing the Waltons.
Would you fuck a robot, though?
No!
I mean...
No judgment.
It's not like, it's not Rosie from the Jetsons.
If it was Rosie, then yes.
Mainly because, well... Never mind. Make a fat joke, but... Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. Rosie was a bigger gal.
Rosie or the one from Spaceballs?
What was the one from Spaceballs?
She was pretty much the C-3PO ripoff, the giant gold one on the skates. Joan Rivers voiced her.
Yeah. God damn it.
I think it was Dot. Her name was Dot.
Yep, you're right. Dot Matrix, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Give you Rosie from the Jetsons all day?
Yeah, just because she seems like she'd take care of me.
Oh.
A place for everything, and everything in its place.
I don't know.
That's what she said.
Sounds really scary.
Yeah, that's what she said. She went crazy one episode. And
Really?
Yeah, that's all she said.
What? How'd I miss this?
Yeah.
It's got to be 40 years old at least, right?
Yeah.
They had a Jetsons movie back in the 80s.
Oh, boy.
It was bad.
There's a live action movie that needs to get made.
No.
Come on, they did it with the Flintstones.
Yeah, they shouldn't have.
I actually enjoyed the first Flintstones.
Oh, my God.
John Goodman, man. Come on.
And Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
And Rosie O'Donnell.
Wait, who was Betty?
Rosie O'Donnell.
What? What are you doing? How did that happen?
Who's Wilma?
I don't know the actress who was Wilma, but the Olsen twins played Pebbles.
Pebbles, yeah.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Are you going to look up the porn version now?
No. I'm looking up who played Wilma.
No,
I
I'm talking
will
Jake.
say I guarantee there's a porn version of that. Absolutely. Oh!
But no, I don't remember who played Wilma.
Elizabeth Perkins.
All right.
Anyway, do we want to do scenes?
Yeah, sure.
Drew's film, so...
Okay, so there's a part where Harrison Ford's going down to track down the remaining replicants, and he wanders into God, what's that guy's name? JF something.
Yeah.
He's a guy that makes like toys and other creepy shit, and it turns out that Roy Batty and what was Daryl Hannah's name? I can't even remember her name. Anyway, it's Roy Batty and Daryl Hannah. They've been staying with the guy, kind of asking him.
Priss. That was
Priss. Yep, that's it. They've been asking him advice on like how to find out how to prolong their life, and so Priss is there, kind of hiding out for him, waiting. Hiding among these toys and looking very stoic and creepy among all these other fucking toys, and ensues like kind of a fight scene between the two of them, and she's beating the shit out of Harrison Ford. Like has got him. Like she's got him. Like she could kill him at any time. And so he's on the ground, like bleeding, kind of like, I don't know, like huffing and puffing and shit. And she runs. You see her doing like back handsprings and shit all throughout the movie, like she's a gymnast and shit. And so she runs down the hallway to do all these back handsprings to like attack him one more time for no fucking reason. And then Harrison Ford just shoots her in the chest while she's doing all these back handsprings. And so she's fucking convulsing and shit on the ground, and then Harrison Ford puts 2 more bullets in her and she dies. And that was probably one of Jake's favorite scenes.
It's pretty goddamn satisfying.
I laughed my ass off when it happened.
You really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just mid-handspring just crumples into a ball and starts freaking out. And
It was pretty great.
yeah, it's pretty fun. I'd have to pick the confrontation between Deckard and Roy. It just slowly builds through the movie. Like, eventually those two are going to run into each other, and it's just raining its ass off, and it's, Deckard just put down the last replicant other than Roy, and Roy kind of knows the writings on the wall, and he's got nothing to lose, and they just start going at each other, and it's kind of a cat and mouse chase through this abandoned, like, rundown apartment. Not really abandoned, I guess, but there's a lot of back and forth about, taking things for granted and, being human and wanting to live longer and just kind of fucking with him. And it kind of culminates outside when, Deckard makes this jump and falls a bit short. Roy jumps right over, and he's been slowing down throughout this whole fight, and in like the last moment, he kind of watches Deckard slowly slipping and makes the comment again, it isn't good to live in fear, like, doesn't feel nice. And he picks him up and kind of crouches down, and he's got this bird in his hands, and he tells him all this stuff he's seen throughout his short life and how it's just going to be lost, like tears and rain. It's really poignant. And he ends up dying, and the bird flies away, and Deckard looks kind of confused, like, grateful, but kind of bewildered that you would see that from something artificial. And I love that scene.
By the way, Rick Deckard does show up and do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he was the main protagonist. I never read the book, so.
Yeah, I haven't read it either.
Man, there are so many scenes, and you guys took 2 of the best ones, unfortunately. But, man, I would probably say when you are first introduced to Harrison Ford in this film, just on the street corner, just sitting there, and he walks over to get some food, and then Edward James Olmos comes up to him and is like, "You're under arrest," but like through Mandarin, and it's a back and forth, and then just like the scope of the city, then you see as he's flying through and then doing all the circle shots and seeing the scope and the setting that this city is in and the dystopian society that is LA. It was a nice opening sequence to kind of set the tone and set where you're at. It was visually stunning.
Does a good job pulling you in.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the set pieces in this are fucking gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree
For
with
82, like, holy shit. You can tell they threw some money at that.
I'd say if you're a fan, the Blu-ray is worth the investment.
Oh, yeah.
Looks, I won't say brand new, but it looks very
For 82,
clean.
yeah, it looks pretty good. Most definitely.
All right, we have anything else?
You got budget info?
I did. Just one second. It made a little over $33 million in its original theatrical run, and it was budgeted at $28 million. So it almost made $34 million, I should say.
So it didn't really crush it.
No.
No, but Metacritic is like an 82%, an 82, I should say, or an 89. I misspeak. 8.2 is what it is on IMDb. The final cut itself on Rotten Tomatoes has 100%. Just Blade Runner itself had 91%.
Mm-hmm.
It was nominated for an Oscar. That is not what I clicked. Oh well. Anyways, yeah. And it has a bunch of like AFI's number 6 sci-fi movie of all time.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty highly regarded.
Mm-hmm.
Just doesn't seem like it really made a lot in its theatrical run, but I'm sure home box office is more than made up for it.
And it definitely has a cult following, so.
Oh, yeah.
But.
All right.
We got anything else? Fun trivia facts or otherwise?
I got nothing.
There was too much in this film to be able to tell you to pick any. I know there's a version where Harrison Ford does some narration work, and he hated it because he said the people who were running it were just assholes.
I think a lot of the fans didn't like that version either. Because I think I've seen that version actually, and you can tell that Harrison Ford isn't really feeling it. It's kind of like that narrator in Tekken 7. He's just kind of like, and then Heihachi went to the market.
Yeah, a lot of people like criticize him, saying he intentionally sandbagged it, and he said no. The issue was no one was giving him direction. They're just like, say it, and they kept telling me to do it. And he goes, whoever wrote it, it was terribly written. He goes, I wasn't intentionally sandbagging, but I was just working with what I had.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, unfortunately, I think the first time I saw this was that version,
Ugh.
and I was like, be good without all that. And then I found out, they went and fixed a lot of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess in the voiceover work, he mentions that he's divorced. So then now in the final cut, he doesn't mention that because there's no voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, is the ex-wife an implant or,
Right.
I know Ridley Scott says in his mind he's a whatever, but then they wouldn't be able to make a Blade Runner 2049.
Why wouldn't they?
I know you're saying that they may not have always had the kill switch, but if Harrison Ford's showing up, he wouldn't age if he was a replicant.
Why wouldn't you age? If you're made of organic material.
Oh, I don't foresee androids actually
I'm
aging.
just fucking with him at this point. I already said, I don't think
know.
he's a replicant, but I don't know. It could be one of those, he likes to get fans excited.
Mm-hmm.
Or, he likes to feed into the...
I mean, you're talking about a guy who made Prometheus, so...
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I never actually saw Prometheus.
Okay.
I did want to see Alien Covenant, though.
Well, you should probably watch Prometheus.
Oh. Okay.
It's not as bad as everyone says.
Covenant was good too. I enjoyed it.
What's funny is everybody hated Prometheus, and then Covenant came out, now everybody hates Covenant, and they love Prometheus.
What?
So, you're all a bunch of fickle cunts, and go fuck yourself. This is why we can't have nice things. Because the fans are so fucking cunty about everything. They're not even fans. I'm not going to say that a fan should blindly... You know what? Fuck, I'm not going to go off on a tangent. If we ever pick one of those, then I'll talk about it. I'm just saying that you can't make anybody happy anymore.
Well, and I sometimes get what the studios are saying, like something like Rotten Tomatoes ruins stuff.
Right.
Because they don't let people judge for themselves.
But then you have... I would agree that people are putting way too much stake in reviews. Which is funny because we do a review pod, but the thing about our pod is we're three randoms.
Yeah.
We're just saying what we think. It doesn't mean shit.
And people don't always agree with us, and that's fine.
Right.
Well, there's two sides to that coin, though, about the Rotten Tomatoes debate is, if there wasn't Rotten Tomatoes, then, studios could just be pumping out shitty movies.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him the thing you told me about Rotten Tomatoes.
Which part?
The fresh rating on specific things.
Like, most recently, Captain Underpants, kids movie, had like an 86%. Not certified fresh. Like, that's weird. 86% on 50-some reviews. Okay, not certified fresh. Whatever. Ghostbusters, 2016, 71% certified fresh. Thing is, if you click top critics, it's like 59%.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have like certain newspapers, magazines that they consider top critics, because they also have certain internet bloggers who also get a critics thing, but they're not called a top critic because they're not exactly an established.
That's interesting.
review.
Maybe I'm not. I'll play devil's advocate here. Maybe it's like a website, like Editor's Choice kind of thing.
And that's why I could think of, but then I'm like, then you need to establish that. Like, you
Exactly.
need to say
I agree.
Editor's Choice,
I agree.
certified fresh. Not because if a movie's 86% and it's not certified fresh, but a film that is 71% is, and even if you click into, like, because they divide them up between all and top, and in your top, it's rotten.
Right.
It is rotten in your top critics. But yet, it's still certified fresh.
Right.
It makes no sense to me.
It should be an even playing field.
Mm-hmm. If Captain Underpants is fresh on both, I don't care if the film sounds like an idiotic thing and for children, it should be certified fresh.
Right. If that's the rating it got,
Mm-hmm.
then whatever bullshit cutoff you guys have should be the same for every fucking movie.
If it like, usually they have to at least hit, usually 50 is a good number for reviews, and it hit over that, and it's, right now it's sitting at 84%.
Not fresh?
No, still not certified fresh.
I call bullshit.
And
That's
see,
why you come to us, dear listener.
I mean, I really take reviews with a grain of salt. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is
it's an aggregate.
It's an okay indicator, and you come to something like a Metacritic or a Rotten Tomatoes, to get an idea.
Right.
But in the end, aren't you ultimately deciding for yourself whether or not you want to go see a movie?
Right.
Well, see,
But the thing about a review is it's supposed to give you insight into what the average person is going to feel. And if it's doing shit like what Ty just talked about, then it's being disingenuous with people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, aren't these top critics a little outside of the cultural norm, not the average Joe?
Well, like, some examples of top critics, I know, like the Orlando News is a top critic.
Okay.
Fort Worth Star, Vogue Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, Salon. The major newspapers usually have like New York Times, all them. They are all top critics. Usually, your big magazines have top critics as well. So,
All I'd say is don't put so much stake in a number or percentage.
I was gonna say, usually what I use Rotten Tomatoes for is, like, if I'm borderline on the fence with a movie that I want to see, like, I'm like, I don't know, I kind of want to see it, but I don't, and I see it's, like, really low, then I'll be like, hey, I'll wait till DVD.
Right.
But if it's a film I want to see, I'd be like, oh, well, that sucks, but then I'll go see it and be like, wow, that doesn't deserve that. Like, Batman versus Superman.
I was just gonna say BVS got completely shit on. I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah, I didn't
want
care.
to see
and
it.
I thought it was fine. It wasn't great, but
Right.
I was like,
I enjoyed
it.
myself.
Yeah. Same with Suicide Squad. So,
I think the best thing you can do, realistically, if you're wondering how a movie is if you got a buddy that actually knows you pretty well, ask them about it. That's your best bet. You can look at numbers, you can look at percentages, that's fine, but don't let it sway you completely. Like, that's not what you should use reviews for. Just let it give you an idea. But if you want to go.
mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't have seen MacGruber if I had listened to Rotten Tomatoes.
Would have saved you a lot of time.
No, it wouldn't have.
That's why you listen to our pod, because we give you the facts.
Yeah. Maybe.
And we point out Rotten Tomatoes and their bullshit.
And we aren't swayed by anyone.
No.
Which, it's a real thing. Like, reviewers will...
Some can be coerced to make a better review.
Right.
Either by pressure or money.
We have zero funding, so...
We're not pay for play, so...
And if they knew half the shit we've said, they wouldn't want to be associated anyway,
Yeah.
so... Yeah. We're just saying.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, do we need to go to reviews yet? Shit, we didn't. Do we want, we'll make them quick. We talked great about this film. So, Drew, you go first. We'll make it short, sweet.
Yeah, it's my first time seeing it. I've always had the inclination to see this movie. I can understand why people dig this thing. I mean, it's, one of the earlier instances of a sci-fi movie that really became, like, huge. Harrison Ford's great. So is the guy who plays Roy Batty. I can't ever fucking remember his name. But you got a great movie. The plot's really good. The set pieces are amazing. The music's great. I definitely want to sit down and watch it again. I think there's some great messages here, and it's a really good movie. I enjoyed myself. I give it an 8.
I love this movie. Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer, fucking Ridley Scott. Like, it's just an awesome sci-fi movie with some really cool philosophical themes, and the future sci-fi setting is neat, and it's just a good old detective story. Like, I don't know what else I could say that we haven't already talked about in our various scenes and whatnot, but I'd give it a 9.5. I love this movie.
Harrison Ford's great. Ridley Scott, give him anything futuristic, he's probably going to do very well with it. Give him anything set in, like, present day or past, not very good, like Robin Hood, but
this is Public Enemies.
Is that Johnny Depp movie?
Yeah. That was Michael Mann, wasn't it?
Oh, you're right, Michael Mann. I apologize.
But no, I genuinely enjoyed Ridley Scott, and in this film, I, again, like Drew, had never seen it and had always heard about it, but never actually watched it. I'm glad I finally was able to. Keep it short and sweet, I'd say an 8.5. Now, turning to next week, it's my pick, and film I think I may have teased once before on this pod, but I'm going to finally pick Willow, the film from the 80s starring Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis, directed by Ron Howard. So
I've never seen it, and I actually can't wait to watch it, because I've heard so much about it. Actually, I don't know shit about it, but I've just been told constantly
that you need to see it.
Why haven't you seen it?
Yeah. So, yep, gonna break that one out, finally.
Is Clint Howard in it?
Not that I remember, but
I really hope,
dude, he should be in this movie.
I really hope he's hidden somewhere.
It's been years since I've seen it, so...
Well, we'll spot him if he's there.
Yeah.
He sticks out like a sore thumb.
All right. Anything else from you guys?
No, I'm just glad we could be mean to Clint Howard before we wrap it up.
All right, like, share, subscribe, Libsyn, iTunes, your favorite podcast app, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We're gonna give a shout out to a listener, Jordan. He contacted us saying he promoted us on a YouTube page to promote our YouTube page, which is great. I mean, we don't have a Patreon type thing, but we love anybody who puts us out there.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Thank you for the support.
Yep. All right, I think that'll do it for us this week. I'm Ty.
Jake.
And I'm Drew.
Bye.